All right. Good morning, everybody. Sun is rising here in the great state of Hawaii. Thanks for watching All Good Things and All Good Time, where it's a great day to be alive, and it's all good. What should we talk about today? Oh man, so I'm watching the news, the local news. FEMA's going to stay here another month, starting today. And they're told that they mentioned that they're trying to make sure everybody gets helped out. No, they're not. Oh my God, they're like an insurance company just looking for reasons to deny you. Interesting. It's so weird. What a divided world. You see people getting kicked out for no reason, treated like shit. Then the governor comes on this morning and says, hey, we're trying to get all this money together so we can give it to you so that you can sign off on not suing. How's that? I didn't see that coming. So, but I'm not in one of the categories that's going to get the money, most likely. I mean, the categories of people that are going to get payouts are going to be people who were physically injured, people who lost their, dad, shit like that. Lost their car. My car didn't burn up. My body didn't burn up. I lost friends, but, it's not like I lost my daughter or my brother or my cousin or my dad like some people did. So that's interesting. I have no idea what to do. I am possibly going to write a book. I don't want to. I might be able to speak, but I'm not much of a writer. So, but I'd like to write a book. And chapter 1's going to be, this should be take this book with you if your house is burning down, because it's going to be an outline of all the shit you should do right away that you won't have the presence of mind to do, potentially, like some people did. I waited 3 weeks to start a GoFundMe, for instance, right? And right now I have no idea what to do, but in the end I'm going to have some advice on, should you sign off and take the payout? Should you sue? Knowing that, 40-50% of that money is going to go to the lawyer, and will it exceed what the payout would be? If you're gonna get, I don't know. Anyway, it's weird. That's something I didn't see coming. What else is going on? Everybody seems to be resonating in the same boat. Weird kind of isolations. Everyone's in different situations. Some people have houses with kitchens in them. Airbnbs. I'm in a room where we're not allowed to have any kind of an appliance, so we can't cook at all. Some hotels have kitchens. There should be a program, okay? If anybody out there who has any authority to accomplish anything, there needs to be a program to help repatriate people you've kicked out for no good reason, or for any reason you could find. Because that's just heartbreaking. See, and that would be a reason for you guys to get sued for more money. It's so weird to see you wanting to help people. Oh, hey, we'll help restore your lives and give you some money. Oh, meanwhile, we just kicked you out of a hotel room. How are those two things congruent? They are not. So, there's that interesting part of this reality. But obviously, if you have to go through a horrible disaster, where I'm at right now is about the best place you could ever be. When you're contemplating, raking through the ashes of your life. This is just such a special place. So, and there's no bad hotels, and the food here is amazing, and people here are wonderful. It's a very safe place to live, right? Ain't nobody walking around with a gun. So I just feel blessed. I feel very fortunate, even though I'm in this predicament. So, a lot to appreciate. So much I want to talk about, but how much can you tolerate? Oh my goodness. So, I found out that the $2,500 that was given out by the Red Cross wasn't from the Red Cross. Some anonymous, maybe they aren't anonymous, I don't know, one individual donor donated $2,500 to everybody, which comes out, if you do the basic math, if it's 7,000, roughly, it's about $18 million. One person donated, and thank God for that, because otherwise that's like more than, like, I got 700 from FEMA. I got what did we get? 1,400 from the Red Cross. And the United Way gave out $1,000. Yeah. So, and that, so that's like $3,000. So that represents about $21 million in donations and funding. And on the news, they're talking about how they're gonna make sure, no one's left behind. People are being left behind all over the place. It's just so weird. What else is in the news about all this? It's just annoying. Anyway, Crank Maui Bicycle Shop just offered to give away 400 free bicycles. And I got in my application. So maybe for once I got in on something that was given away. Of course, I've been denied by FEMA and denied by Oprah Winfrey. And all the rental assistance programs can't help me because I can't find any place to rent. But you never know. There could be a miracle out there. If any of you super wealthy people need a caretaker, I'd love to be your caretaker. I was thinking, I'm so old. I'm so old. I can remember when Al Roker and Al Sharpton were fat. Then when Carson Daly was skinny. That's what I'm at right here. I am almost as fat as Carson Daly. So let's hope it doesn't get that bad. Oh, my friend Ratna. I worked with Ratna at our local elementary school. I was a part-time special ed teacher, but she's full-time. And man, is she a saint, working for very little, doing the hardest job in the world sometimes. Oh, you don't even want to know. And so they keep asking her the same stuff they're asking me, which they're being told to ask us. Do you want to move to the other side? Do you want to move off island or whatever? Like, she is full-time. She's she's working in our local school system, full-time right now after the tragedy, right? And they're asking, do you want to go move over to the other side of the island? There's no way in hell. Like, like, well, sure, I'd like a place to stay. She should be our number one priority. People like her, we need to create a place, like, some kind of place to house her. Maybe not in a hotel, that's maybe longer term. Figure out a great way to do our best to reward her for being such a great person. Oh, and she's so funny. This is the funniest thing ever. Sweetest little Filipino lady ever. And dogs like her so much. Like, dogs just love her. They come to her, they visit her. It's so funny. So she literally tells me, they call me Hamburger because dogs like me so much. That's what they call me. Anyway, that's the funniest thing ever, and it's true. Anyway, don't forget to compliment somebody today. It's so easy to say something nice to somebody, right? It doesn't cost you any money. And if you're looking for an easy victory, compliment a woman's shoes today. That's easy victory. As long as she looks like she cares about her shoes a little bit, which many women do, just tell her she's got nice shoes. You like her shoes. I'll score points. I promise you. All right, I'm trying a new angle. Camera's a little further out. All right. What? I can't even read my own writing. Oh, women, women, women. Oh, I love you, women. You showed up to the polls and you are kicking ass and taking names. How dare they try to make you second-class citizens, handmaids? Oh, meanwhile, they're even threatening to take away contraceptives, right? They want to force you to get pregnant and then force you to have the baby. But what no one saw, which hasn't been mentioned if you've been following the news, they're making it all about the abortion issue. But there's more to it. You see, women, by the way, are our greatest resource because it's not the children that are our future. It's the women who can have the children who are our future. Number one priority. So, what was I gonna say? I don't know. I forgot where I was, what I was talking about. Anyway, great job for showing up to the polls. Legalizing weed in Ohio. Thank you. Great job there. Like 57% of the vote. 57% of the vote. Kentucky Democratic governor. Virginia, all state representatives are Democrats, so that means they won't be trying to overthrow the United States of America like these Republican traitors. Oh my goodness. So many victories. But yeah, women are speaking, and they are the majority of our voting population, the majority of the educated people in our country, the majority of the income earners, the majority of our growing workforce. So that was just so stupid. Why would you pick fights with women like that? Thinking you could just take their rights away. Pro-death Republicans. You want to kill women, and they don't want to die. Oh, apparently, yeah. That the Christian thing to do, murder women. 30,000 women die in the United States every year from black market abortions, from Republican abortion laws. Used to murder women by tens of thousands. And y'all want to go back to that because you think it's in God's best interest. Okay, sure. Oh my God. Yeah, so anyway, I forgot I was gonna say something. Supposedly our Congressman Schatz is gonna try to get more federal money for the victims of the Maui fire. More money I won't see. I don't know, this is just everywhere you look. There's all these people wanting to do nice things for the people of Maui. Meanwhile, you know, there's people that don't even have bank accounts, don't have a GoFundMe account, don't have a cell phone or any kind of internet connection. So there's just a real interesting big line from the people who are getting the most help to the least help, you know, and I'd just love to see that spreadsheet. It would just be interesting anyways. But it's nice to see. Thank you all for caring about the people of Maui. They feel your love. I feel your love. And it's all wonderful. What does this say here? Oh, comedy. I went to the Y Bar last night where it was said that they had an open mic night for $5 a cover. Stupid. But they just canceled it. So I showed up last night. I was the only one in the bar. And they had no open mic night. But the bartender happened to be a guy who used to tell jokes and do a little stand-up comedy himself. And he liked the idea of bringing it back for free. And by going to a canceled open mic stand-up night, I may have fostered a new beginning of open mic. Because I said, I was like, dude, I'll do, if no one shows up, I'll do 2 hours. You know? But he's like, how about, you know, you maybe kick it off and, you know, do an opening set and then a closing set. I was like, oh man, that's a dream come true, right? Because with open mic comedy, it's impossible. There's always some gatekeeper that's in control of everything. And, you know, it's a pain in their pain in the rear, and it's cliquey. It's like high school comedians in every town. They all know each other sort of, and it's just kind of weird, man. So if I can just get some unfettered time on a real stage with a few people in a real audience, man, that'll be so fun. So that might be happening, and of course I'll be trying to get people to go there to the Y Bar on Wednesday nights in a week or 2 or 3, something like that. I don't know. Anyway. Let's tell some jokes, man. Just as Pete Davidson explained the other day, you know, great way through tragedy is with comedy. Look at this. I got 2 cups. This is a 2 cup of coffee. 2 cup of coffee show. I was thinking maybe to try to trigger all the algorithms, you know. I'll call it the, you know, Talking Story with Craig-H-Bradley, also known as the late night to night, morning, afternoon, evening, daily live variety show. And maybe every one of those words would trigger some, you know, algorithmic avenue. I don't know. I don't know how any of this works. That's right. Happiness is a clean conscience, right? No need to lie. You don't even need to tell white lies. If it's a white lie, why tell it? Just be honest. Live with a clean conscience. Oh, yeah. And the cure for depression is generosity, right? A compliment is being generous. Being there for somebody, driving someone somewhere is being generous. If you have resources to share, be generous. Especially if you're depressed, if you're unhappy, nothing fosters happiness like generosity. And it's equals. Generosity equals class, which is why Tiger Woods has none. Oh, man, check it out. As a waiter, man, I remember stuff when people talk about tipping, you know, publicly. And once Willie Geist on MSNBC, with this whole panel of morons, talked about how there were certain times when they just felt like they didn't have to tip in a restaurant, which means when they left, if that's true, they've gone places and left no tip. That means their server, that single mother, had to take money out of her pocket and pay money to serve them being so insulting. It costs us money to serve you if you don't tip us. Like the first 10% of that 20% tip, maybe the first 12, 15% of it, all goes out the window. The waiter earns the last 5, maybe 8% on a 20% tip, literally. So that's why you got to do it, man, because that's just rude. Who would want to do that to a single mother? Take food off her kid's table. Come on now. That's un-American. What else we got here? No, my writing. I got a great story. Maybe and then on the opposite side of that, I swear to God, I teared up, even though it's, you know, weird bunch of people to see together. On the Ellen DeGeneres show, Chris Pratt was there. Okay, which there's an interesting local story. But they both talked about formerly having worked in the service industry and why it's important to tip well. And that was very heartwarming when those two had that conversation that one time. Like, it just burns into my memory when I see stuff like that. But Chris Pratt, strange Republican dude, was here living on the beach out of a Jeep, I think. And a tent, and working at Bubba Gump Shrimp Company. Now, as you may know about the story of the Lahaina fire, the people in the water were next to, behind, and around where Bubba Gump Shrimp Company was, okay? And Chris Pratt was working there, and this TV movie producer, director guy came in. I think it was an Asian guy. I think his name was Chow, maybe? I don't know. Not sure. like discovered him or whatever. um, just like Tory Praver, but so and then his career somehow got started from some stranger walking into the restaurant he was working at and discovering him, liking him so much that he wanted to put him into TV or some show or something. I don't know. Anyway, so that's how Chris Pratt got his start. Was right there where those people burned to death. uh, yeah. So that's just interesting, and I thank him for those nice comments about Tippinwell on the Ellen DeGeneres show about 10 years ago. What else? But yeah, so man, I had this whole set of jokes I just thrown together. You know, all jokes you've heard already if you've watched my channel. So they're easy. I know they work, and I couldn't wait to just drop the quick 10, 15 easy jokes and make a little video and then post that. But it didn't happen once again. All right, here is a story. This is like, I should tell this story often because it's one of the greatest stories in Hawaii, in Hawaiian history, and it's happening right now. I took this amazing class, one of the greatest classes in the state of Hawaii, Hawaiian Studies 107, from Keope Raymond, and he showed us a movie about Nainoa Thompson and his four friends going to what's the name of the place? Somewhere I have it. Oh, there it is. Satua. They went to Satua and found. It's funny. I just met a local Hawaiian guy that filled in some blanks on the story 2 days ago. Sat next to him when I made that little music video, Eva, and he explained some stuff that was cool. So I didn't know added details, but here's what they are. So I thought he went and found like the last guy on Earth that could sail by the stars, right? Because the Hawaiians had lost their knowledge of how to sail by the stars. Their culture being stepped on so heavily, that was one of the side effects. So Nainoa Thompson and four other awesome guys went down to Satua and the islands next to the Mariana Trench and found the third best. I guess the first and the second one declined. The chiefs declined, and at the point where he conceded to helping, he wasn't even a chief yet. Apparently, according to the guy I talked to 2 days ago, he became a chief, and then he now has a doctorate. Right, this guy Mao Piat. Let me get the name right. Mao Piailu. Mao Piailu. So he was one of the last people on Earth that could sail by the stars, that understood the methods. And Nainoa Thompson and these guys went down there. They brought a film crew, and they learned how to sail by the stars. They sailed all the way back to Hawaii, from Hawaii back to this guy's home, and from those 5 guys learning from one man, bringing it back to the state of Hawaii, now there are 1,000, 2,000, thousands maybe, of people who can sail by the stars. It's an amazing thing. It makes logical sense when it's explained to you. It's like something you can totally understand the first time someone explains it, but it doesn't mean you know how to do it, you know? But they put the shells in a circle, and they line them up with the North Star, the Little Dipper, the Big Dipper, whatever, and there's certain points in the sky that are always the same, and it's a beautiful thing, which is fascinating, right? The Hawaiian culture was so many things. It was so complex and genius, and the A'upua'a system, sailing by the stars, all these things were just genius. But on another note, which makes them not sound genius, but it's, they were one of the last Stone Age people because they had no metal tools and they didn't write. They had a language, but they didn't write their language. And I guess that defined them as a Stone Age people, whatever. Like when Captain Cook came, right? They didn't have metal tools, and they and didn't write their language, I think. And the writing of their language, I think, began after, white people started coming here. But just amazing. The A'upua'a system is amazing, and we'll talk about that in the future, because that's something to talk about over and over. It's just like the most wonderful thing ever. So this guy Nainoa Thompson, and then so now we know the story of the Hokulea that has sailed around the world, sailing by the stars. I mean, that's amazing, right? Just amazing. And so Nainoa Thompson is like one of, and those guys that brought it back are all like living legends, right? I mean, they've done something so legendary and they're still alive. Anyway, it came to Kapalua. I was working front door at the Ritz-Carlton, and Nainoa Thompson came walking up, and I was looking at him like, oh man, I'd love to shake your hand. Like that was my thought. Oh man, I wish I could shake this guy's hand. And then he looked at me and came right over to me and he shook my hand. So that was cool. I got to shake Nainoa Thompson's hand once. And all the people from the Hokulea were there at the Ritz, which is cool. We have this one legendary person in our town who deserves, he's a living legend beyond. Many of you may know the story of Eddie Aikau, who, when the Hokulea set out in the early 70s, they set out on the wrong day. The weather was not right, and they should have waited a day, right? In retrospect, of course. But they set out on the wrong day. The weather was brutal. Their canoe flipped. They were all just clinging to the canoe out there in rough weather. I don't know, 100 miles offshore of Oahu or something, somewhere out there, 50 miles offshore, drifting. And Eddie Aikau got a surfboard and paddled to try to get help. And he was never seen again. And there's bumper stickers that say Eddie would go, right? Because he would go to save his friends, because he did, and was never seen again. And the Eddie Aikau Classic, the big wave surf contest, is in his name. And he is a legend, right? And there's a 30/30 ESPN documentary about this man and the story. So that is legendary Eddie Aikau. It is true, Eddie would go. However, there was another guy in that same crew that did the exact same thing. Snake Ahi. He left first, before Eddie Aikau left, to try to get help, to save everybody. And he was found and rescued. So, the part of the story that not everybody knows is Eddie would go, but Snake went first. Anyway, I've paddled for a canoe club next to Kahana Canoe Club, and I've walked by Snake many times, said hello. He said hello back. I don't think he knows who I am, but I know who he is. He is one of our town's treasures. Soft-spoken, silver-haired gentleman, been paddling for 25 years that I've witnessed mostly. I haven't been around lately, but I assume he's always wearing green, so I assume he's just been paddling for Kahana Canoe Club consistently for the last 25 years that I've been here. Anyway, but a living legend and part of our special community, that burned down. So, but he's apparently alive and well, thank God. So that's kind of a cool story, and it all relates, right? What else? Thank you for watching All Good Things in All Good Time. Thank you, ladies, for coming out to vote, You men who vote against women's health and safety are pieces of shit. So grow some balls and vote to protect women. My God. My fucking God. Oh, I know what I was going to say earlier. So the part of the story that wasn't mentioned, okay, isn't getting any attention in the news, is of course women want the opportunity to have babies safely, to not, to go have medical procedures safely. They deserve not to die, right? And to have children the way they want, when they want, how they want, right? Safely, right? So, and it just turns out when women have children, like after they give birth, they have a vested interest in their children not being murdered by Republican gun laws when they go to kindergarten. So maybe that's the other part of the story that isn't being talked about. Because women are smart enough to know that in a civilization, we don't need guns. We don't need the ability to murder each other whenever we want. I don't trust you guys that much. My God. When is someone going to come to the realization that what America really is? A little bit like me. I've had a few concussions. I play violent video games. I drink alcohol. Do you really want me to have guns all over the place? I don't need it. Fuck, what if I have a bad moment? Not to mention, man, you can't have one suicidal moment in your life if you got guns around, because it only takes a split second to succeed if you have a gun, right? All the people who fail at suicide are people without guns. So if you want to fail at suicide someday, don't have guns around so you can't do it to yourself. Cheers. God, when I moved to Hawaii, I was like, why would I? There's no predators here. I mean, a shotgun, sure. You got rattlesnakes, you got mountain lions, you got coyotes. Sure, have some self-protection devices. 22, whatever. You don't need much. But, oh, God, these freaking military weapons on the streets. Just foolishest, most foolish thing we could have ever done to ourselves. Thank you. 2004, George Bush, Republicans. Thanks for bringing back the assault rifle. All that blood is on your hands. If you want to make it right, just get smart. All right. Oh. More to say. Crazy stuff to talk about, but we'll just leave it where it's at. Thank you. I'm going to think of stuff I wish I had said. Don't lose hope. Don't lose hope. Oh, you know what? Newsweek. This is cool. This is in reference to one of my videos. In front of the White House, there is a war protest that has been going on for almost 50 years. Felipe Malacos Felipe Malaco Belos, who was on the cover of Newsweek magazine in like 1979. They built this little war protest, and they kept people at it 24 hours a day, and then the laws changed, but they were grandfathered in. So as long as someone's there, they can keep this war protest in front of the White House. This war protest has been there for almost 50 years. And people are there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, right? Without fail, because if they're ever not there, then the local authorities can just take their stuff, move it away, and they're gone forever. So I made a little video interviewing Felipe Malaco Belos, who was on the cover of Newsweek magazine, and with a nice introduction from his friend Marty, who's carrying a sign in front of the White House. Beautiful sign. It says, "Hate won't make America great." Great sign, Marty. Probably spends a lot of time there, apparently. And talks to everybody. Very, very intelligent guy. But that is one of my videos. It's just like 372 videos behind this one. Should you want to fish around for it. I think his name is in the title. Felipe, either Felipe Malaco Belos. I think there's one S. I want to say Filippo Malacos Belos, but something like that. Anyway. Yeah, gee whiz. Heck, Sun Gun. All right. If you're thinking about doing, oh, hey, don't gamble today. That's a good idea. My God, we're getting inundated with gambling ads, and then when you go to buy gas, you got lottery tickets getting shoved down your throat. That's all gambling. That's all a waste of your hard-earned money. Unless you have money to burn, don't participate in this freaking gambling-infested world as best you can. Resist the temptation, because it sometimes leads to suicide. We don't need more of that. We got too much already. All right. So don't do harm. Don't do crime. Tip 20%. And thanks for watching. Aloha. All right. All right. All right. Oh. Should I participate in a lawsuit? Or should I try to investigate trying to get a payout from the governor who just brought that up this morning? I think there's a lot of pressure on the governor. Seems like he's pretty stressed out, but I don't know. Anyway, that's just a little question I got. Okay, aloha. Don't lose hope. Don't lose hope. Don't lose hope.